This episode of Around the Layout is brought to you by Highball Graphics. For over 25 years, Highball Graphics has been providing high-quality decals for railroads in New England, Canada, and beyond. With over 2,000 sets in scales N through G, Highball Graphics has you and your project covered. Highball Graphics specializes in custom decal orders, serving freelance railroads worldwide. Check out their easy-to-use website at highballgraphics.com or email them at info@highballgraphics.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around the Layout, where model railroaders come to tell their story. My name is Ray Arnott. So glad you could join us. We've got a little special here. We're going to be talking about the Model Train Show that's happening on Sunday, October 29th at the Vernon Center Middle School. And to do that, the guy leading the charge for that show, Dave Owens. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Ray. It's great to be here.
It's awesome to have you here. And this is actually the flyer that you handed me when we ran into each other down at the, well, why don't you tell me? Because I'm trying to remember. It was a really long name for that event down in Essex, Connecticut.
Well, I think it's the New Haven Technical and Historical Society Reunion is the official name, but it's basically their annual get-together.
Yeah, that was really cool to go down to, a place that had some history with the New Haven Railroad, that being Essex, and seeing the steam train operation that's down there, and then walking through and getting to see some real great guys. I got a pass of Chris Adams going by, saw the silver streak heading back towards a room. He was doing a presentation. And then talked to Bill Richardson from Rapido, and then talked to a bunch of other folks about the history of the New Haven, and got to chat about my hometown of Plainfield and its role in that, and some movies and that kind of thing too. So it was a really nice event to go to.
It was. I've never been to the New Haven event. I had always been under the impression it was closed because they call it a reunion.
Right.
But it was a public event, and I went at the urging of Chris Adams and had a great time. And then I got to go see some terrific layouts.
Yeah, that's great. What did you get to see while you were down there?
I saw Bob Murphy's layout.
Tell us about
in Old
it.
Saybrook.
Yeah.
It's a New Haven layout, and I believe it's based upon the line north from Norwich. So It would be up into your neck of the woods.
Oh, awesome.
And it is a really, really nice model railroad. Wide aisles, very nice scenery, terrific trains. And it is an older layout. Bob completed it, and he just did a spectacular job. And he's now in the midst of revising it, going back in and replacing some of the old school trees with super trees, and making what I think is a really nice looking layout even nicer.
Nice.
And then we saw Chris Adams' layout too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is always fun.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. And man, that adage that a layout is never done, going back and revising and making it better. That's super. And super that you get to see those layouts as well. I unfortunately had to bolt out of there. We had a recording with Tony Cook that afternoon, but I did get a chance to pass around, and of course got to run into you, and you handed me a flyer that says that the Amherst Railway Society is presenting a model train show, and that's what we're here to talk about. So want to kind of get the down low on this and what you guys are up to. So tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So the Amherst Railway Society is probably best known for the gigantic railroad hobby show each January,
right,
up at the Eastern States Exposition in West Springfield, Mass. It is, at this point, the largest model train show in the country.
Yep.
As you know, 4 gigantic buildings, about 23 to 25,000 people over 2 days. More than 50 operating layouts, hundreds of vendors, exhibitors. So we have this massive show we put on every year.
Right.
And we've decided we want to try and kickstart a local model train show. Connecticut used to have half a dozen shows in the fall, probably that many again in the spring. And slowly over the last 20 or so years, they faded away. And I think COVID did a couple in as well.
Right.
So we're in a situation where there's not a lot, and we thought we would try and kickstart things because this is model train season. I mean,
right.
For me, model train season is year round, but I think for a lot of people, when the weather gets cool,
yes,
they start thinking, hey, I need to get back in the basement, start working on my model trains. I wonder if there's a model train show.
Right.
So we began looking for an opportunity to kick off a new one, and one presented itself in Vernon, Connecticut. And we're partnering with the band and vocal program at Rockville High School, which is the high school for Vernon. And we're going to kick off a show on October 29th at Vernon Center Middle School, which is right off of exit 66 of Interstate 84, just about 15 miles or so east of Hartford.
Right.
And we're thinking for Connecticut folks, many probably remember the Cheshire Show, the Cheshire High School Train Show. It was twice a year.
Yeah.
And it was really probably one of the more popular train shows, one of the more popular local train shows, where it was always a good crowd. That show, unfortunately, appears to be discontinued. So we're trying to sort of capture that magic again, get something along those lines going. And we picked this weekend, and we're hoping that we can attract people interested. We're still working to attract some vendors, and we're hoping that we can sort of kickstart this tradition of local train shows.
Yeah, I'm going back a ways. I remember, even into like the early 2000s, I remember there being some of these smaller train shows, like Wyndham High School, the Connecticut Eastern Railroad Museum would hold a train show there, and I do remember one down in Wallingford, I believe it was. It was either at a small Elks or a kind of lodge like that, and those are always fun. The little more intimate shows. I mean, we all love Amherst, and we're all blessed to be near Amherst or be a part of Amherst, like you are. Having that big railroad show, which it really is the best in the country from every aspect of that I've heard. But it's nice to have that intimate setting too, where you have that small train atmosphere.
Yeah, something that's a little more relaxing, a little less intense. Where you can, a modular club can bring their layout in for a day and get to run trains. And then a few vendors just come together and just more informal, but at the same time, shooting for that whole idea of just promoting the hobby, getting people juiced to go home and build models, that kind of thing.
Right. So let's talk about some of the vendors that you do have, because I saw a few on there that were some familiar names.
Well, we were lucky. We've got some terrific vendors. Ron's Books, which I think is the premier book vendor in the country. They are just, Lee Rosenberg has taken over from his dad. Ellie, Ron's wife, is still heavily involved, but Lee is really sort of the lead on the business now, and he really is terrific. He knows the book business, and he finds those obscure titles, and he knows I like the Reading Railroad. And every time I see him, I got a Reading book. I got a Reading book for you.
That's great.
And he's great. He really, he's the kind of guy who, when you've got him as a vendor, you feel, as a consumer, I'm glad that we have Ron's Books, because if I look for something, if I'm looking for something, I know they're going to have it.
Yeah.
Steve Mignani, who had a very well-known hobby shop here in Connecticut called the Hobby Gallery down in Wolcott.
Yep.
He had a caboose next door. Some people might remember. He's still in business, and he's going to come. Tom's Trains from Wethersfield.
Okay, good.
And we have a variety of Lionel American Flyer dealers coming. And we have Loco Bob, who has a mix of items, locally known probably to Connecticut folks, and a bunch of others there's a guy who's selling uniforms. I guess he specializes in helping railroad museums and tourist railroads with getting uniforms for their staff.
Excellent.
So it's kind of a mix of vendors, and we're also looking for, those folks who, like probably you and I, have bought too much,
right,
and we need to get rid of it.
Excellent.
And come in to get a table and take what you shouldn't have bought and let someone else buy it. Yep. And maybe make a little money so you can buy something else.
That's right. Yeah, maybe you break even.
The circle,
the
circle of model trains.
That's right. Sell some stuff so you can go buy some stuff. That's definitely the way to do it. And yeah, your table prices are very reasonable. Why don't you tell us about that? What it takes to become a vendor for the model train show?
We're charging $30, and which I think is pretty standard these days for a small show, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we're hoping that people find that economical and hope they can make some money on the deal too.
Right. And then you've got talk about some of the layouts that are going to be on display for your show.
We have Valley HO Track is going to bring their layout. And
Excellent.
we have there's a group from Manchester, Connecticut, the Connecticut Society of Ferroeconologists. And I can't believe I pronounced that correctly.
Nailed it.
And they had an O-scale layout for years, and they've got a refined one now. It's more of a switching layout.
Wow.
And they're going to be bringing that. Mm-hmm. And we're working on a couple more.
Excellent. It'll definitely be great to see those guys there and see who else you've been able to drum up for the show. Very simple. It's a Sunday show, 10 to 4. Very easy to do. As if you're a vendor or somebody that's going to get a table, it's 6, 7, 8 hour commitment. It's not like you got to do 2 days of it. So that's really kind of a nice, easy thing to get into. And then if you're going to come see the show, really reasonable prices here you've got.
It's a maximum of $20 for a family. So if a family comes in with 6 kids, we don't want to clip everybody. We want everybody to come in. And so we figured we'd set a maximum charge. So in case there's a larger family.
Hard to entertain a family for $20 max nowadays. So this is a really affordable way to get in and entertain the family. And if you're a model railroader, $8, that's a pretty inexpensive, and it's going to a great cause.
It is. And really part of our mission is to bring new people into the hobby. That's always a part of what we do. We just want to get young people interested in trains, and we're hoping that the layouts will transfix the kids, and then just sort of set off whatever that is that set it off in you and me, and your listeners to get interested and stay interested. Right. We've also, the Amherst Society's got a couple other programs. We did a program back in July called Kids on Track up at Springfield Station.
Okay.
It went so well. We worked with Connecticut Rail, which operates the commuter line between New Haven and Springfield. Right. They said we should do something for Halloween. So we're doing Track or Treat the day before the show, the Saturday before the show on the 28th. And I think we've got 150 kids already signed up.
Wow.
And the Connecticut Rail folks have already said, well, what are we going to do for Christmas? So John Sacerdote's working on that. And the goal is just to get kids engaged and interested and to bring them along because there's just so much the hobby has to offer.
Oh, for sure. We've had many of great conversations with many folks on here, including Michelle Kempema, and regarding the power of model railroading when it comes to kids and their education and the things that they can learn from it. And it's great that you're participating in those things, which is one of many things that you do for the hobby between Amherst and your involvement in the Northeast Railroad Prototype Meet. Tell us a bit about that in your role there.
A group of friends and I have been putting on the Northeast Prototype Modelers Meet for about 20 years now.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where we went to a meet. We went to a meet hosted by Jim Six. Folks may recall him. He was a very prolific author, terrific modeler. And we went to a meet Jim hosted, put together, and we had a ball. And we didn't have anything in New England like that at the time.
Right. So
we decided to try and put one together. And so far, so good. People have a great time, and that's the mission.
Yeah, you've turned it into, over 20 years. It's been it's one of those events that you just look forward to doing every year. I know that you've had some even location challenges that you've overcome. So you guys work really hard to keep what affectionately called NERPM together and keep that event what it is.
Location problems is an understatement. we've literally killed 3 hotels. Mm. We began in the community center in Canton, Connecticut, and we just outgrew it. Right. And we went to a hotel in Enfield, and they told us they literally tore down their event space. I don't know what we did, but and then we moved to the Farmington Marriott. Folks around here may be familiar with that, and that closed up and was converted into apartments. And then we moved to Springfield, Mass, to the La Quinta Hotel, and they're converting some of the event space there into guest rooms. So this year was our last year there. We are going to be in the Springfield Sheraton in 2024.
Excellent.
Right downtown, and we're real happy with that. It's a great hotel. Everything will be on one floor, the clinic rooms, the model display room, the vendor room. So we're looking forward to that. And what's great about Springfield, as you know, is easy train access.
Right.
And the train station is only about 2 blocks from the hotel. So we've had quite a few people who are happy to leave their cars at home and take the train to the meet, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, there's a lot of good rail fanning around there. You've got the West Springfield CSX yard. So you come up for the day, you do the NERPM event, you take the train there, and then you go see trains and take the train home and just fill your whole day with it. So it's that's going to be a great location. The Springfield Sheraton's been there a long time, and they're going to be a long time after. So I think your streak of killing hotels is long over, Dave.
I hope so. I'm getting tired of finding a new place every few years. The thing about these Proto Meats, we travel, my group of friends and I, we go to a bunch of them around the country. We go to one near Philadelphia, one just this side of Pittsburgh. There's a terrific one down in Maryland. There's a great one in Cocoa Beach. There's going to be one in Naperville, Illinois. And of course, as you well know, the terrific event out in Collinsville, Illinois.
Right.
These Proto Meats are a lot of fun. And I really encourage people to give one a shot. You know, it's the name Prototype Meat makes it sound like an exclusive kind of gathering, and it's not. It is a place for anybody who's interested in model railroading, to go, to learn, to have a great time. I think people go and they just find a welcoming environment. I think they have an opportunity to learn through a bunch of really terrific clinics. And then just the inspiration you can get from looking at some of the models and realizing that a regular person just like you did that. Right. And the whole theme of these meets is sharing and you know, helping others learn, and they're just great events, and it's all about sharing and bringing people along and just having a great time and just sharing this great hobby, which again, I'm repeating myself, has so much to offer.
Well, again, I think it's so important enough to repeat, and you know, whether it be the NERPM event or even coming back to the Model Train Show in Vernon, it's just another great opportunity to get yourself out, get yourself around other modelers, and be able to, you know, network with them, talk with them. It's amazing the people you meet in this hobby and the different things that you can learn when you attend such things. And I'm certainly looking forward to meeting some new people on Sunday, October 29th, because I plan on being there. And yeah, we're gonna just great to have again these smaller shows. I mean, like we said before, the big show is awesome, but it's nice that's only 2 days out of this whole model railroad season that you talk about, and I believe in the season too. I mean, it is year round, but once you start getting colder, and yeah, exactly, it just rolls into that season, and it's good to have these small shows like this.
And I think also what's important is the social element.
Right.
And the podcast community, like you, have done a great job of bringing people together and creating communities. And it's a great chance for these communities to come together to see each other at an event, whether it's the big show, whether it's a Proto Meet someplace, whether it's another kind of event. These people who become familiar with each other, it's just a great social opportunity. And I know we look forward to seeing a lot of people through the year, and we know we're going to see them when we go to the Penn Central Convention, or when we go to the New Haven Convention, or the Western Pennsylvania Proto Meet, or the Philadelphia Area Proto Meet. It's just something to look forward to. We know we're going to have a great time with the models, with the clinics, but getting together with all these different people is really the highlight.
Absolutely. As I say on the show, the hobby is so much better shared. And it's certainly great to get people together and share what you know about the hobby, what you love about the hobby, and what you'll find is a whole bunch of like people that you can relate to and share that passion with. So let's give out the details one more time here. Model Train Show, Sunday, October 29th at the Vernon Center Middle School. That's at 777 Hartford Turnpike in Vernon, Connecticut, easily accessed off of I-84 in Vernon. So if you're coming from Boston, New York, you're coming south, Great, easy place to get to right off of I-84. Adults only $8, maximum $20 for the family. And again, all the proceeds benefit the Rockville High School Band and Choir programs. So Dave Owens, thank you so much for joining us on this little show we're doing here to promote the Model Train Show. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Vernon.
Thank you so much, Ray. Great to talk to you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Around the Layout. Learn more about today's show on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Around the Layout. Show your support by becoming an operating crew member at patreon.com/Around the Layout podcast. Past episodes and more can be found on our website, aroundthelayout.com. And send us your feedback, aroundthelayout@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging out with us around the layout.